Any questions from what we've done the last couple of weeks, or last 2 sessions? Managed to do the videos again yourself? Who went through it again?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's shut that down. Yes, go on.
No question, actually. It's I like and appreciate very much the repetitions of all pulls in all these very popular and widespread movements. And and for me it's a challenge to do it very slowly, so I'm more used to move more quicker. Yeah.
Right. Yes. I mean, I listened back to it to myself and was thinking the pace is quite slow, but I'm aware some people are working in other languages. And is the pace right, or am I going too slowly? It's fine for your end. Good. Yes. Yes. And
it's not too slow.
It's not too slow. Good.
No, it's from sometimes it's fast.
Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you. That's good feedback. Thank you. So it's not far, not too slow. Good.
I also think when we go through the pose profoundly and you want to apply them in movement again profoundly, then it's absolutely not too slow. Then it's I remember being really busy in my head all the time, remembering blah 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 blah.
Yes. Hannes?
And I have a suggestion. When we come to last time, it was from standing, coming down to the dog, to the plank, and all this. And take your time to explain the whole exercise or the whole stuff.
First.
Yeah, first.
Yeah.
And not too fast, because when we warm up and we do the pulls, it can be simultaneously with us. But doing a complex movement, it's good to have it in mind one time.
Yes.
And also, if you do the example, you can emphasize which is a important part of it.
Yeah, because I've got quite a few new things for you today. So yes,
yeah.
I'll demonstrate them all first. Thank you.
I think that it's my idea. I think it's good.
I think it makes sense. I think that would make sense, because they are, last 2 sessions we've been mostly repeating things we've done before, but this time there'll be new things. So yeah. Okay.
I think we can concentrate then more on the directions and not so much on learning
what the movement is.
The movement, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, nice. Okay. Anybody else got any comment? This is all useful feedback. And then so let's begin. And I will go and fetch my spectacles, which I went out to get and obviously forgot them to bring back in again. So if you want to stand where you've got, where I can see at least the upper half of you. If you want to pin me for your video, then that's fine. I'm going to keep seeing everybody. But if you want to pin me so that I'm big in your screen, then please do. Everybody knows how to do that, do they? Who wants to do it?
So everybody should mute themselves so that we don't have the sound from others.
Oh yes, good idea. Yes, if everybody would like to mute.
I'm muted. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. But if you do have questions, just wave at me. I mean, if you do need to stop the flow. Otherwise, we'll flow and then we'll take the break halfway through, like 2/3 like we've done before. So let's start by finding the vestibular directions. Up, down, front, back, side, side. And being aware of where the pivot point is under the ear, and that the center of gravity is forwards and up from that, and that the head, if it's allowed, will nod forwards and will rotate around this point so that the whole spine extends and the head really does go forwards and up together and takes the back with it. So just playing with that for a moment while still seeing out. And we are letting it happen, but we're being very precise in our body geometry, our body mapping of these 2 points. And then letting the eyes wander round to the side. Again, inviting them not to jump or fix or glaze. And if they are tending to jump or fix or glaze, just inviting yourself to see what is next to what you are seeing. And then seeing what is next to that. And then seeing what is next to that. Letting yourself be surprised by the colors and the textures and the amount of space between you and what you are seeing. Seeing from the back of the head, out through the spaces of the head, out through the spaces of the room, out to the world, and the spaces between objects as well as the objects themselves. And everything comes present. You come present, and everything comes present. And the next time your eyes are back front again, track your eyes away from you to the horizon and back again, tracking an imaginary line. And if you don't have a window to look out of, then go up the wall and notice that the head nods forwards as you come towards yourself and nods up as you go away from yourself. But in both of these, it maintains that forwards and up. Because the head is continuing to rotate at the pivot around the center of gravity. It's rotating at the atlanto-occipital, around the center of gravity of the back of the cheekbone. And whether you are going up or down, there is still a quality of the head going forwards and up. So just seeing if you notice that. And then the next time you come with the eyes rolling across the floor towards you down, again with this forwards and up at the pivot, letting it draw you into a monkey, because the forwards and up of the head itself will draw the iliac spines back. Head going forwards and up will draw the back back. And then again, let those 2 forces, the eyes forwards and the up of the head. So we're using our 2 vestibular directions, the forward one and the up one, but finding them as the vision and that forwards and up of the pivot of the head on the neck. So just finding that little bend. And there's no sense of down. If we can get that, everything following the head up and back, then there is no sense of down in this. And being aware as you come quieter, you come to calm, that we're more aware of ourselves, the space we are taking up in the room, the place we are inhabiting in the room, and the movement going on within us. Breathing, flowing in and out. Just saying hello to how it is flowing in this moment. I can do less with my nose. I can not hold the top of the in-breath, just letting the out-breath go, letting the ribs fully drape down, and then allowing the spontaneous in-breath, that springy in-breath. And just waiting again at the bottom of the out-breath, just letting it be a little longer. And then allowing the in-breath to flower from deep inside you. The diaphragm flowers into activity, the pelvic floor domes down, the back widens. Just maybe everything comes into play. And the eyes continue to see. So let's align the feet. And finding that little lateral movement of the foot. And stopping on so that where the sesamoid bones are engaged, and then finding the medial ankle back and up. Being aware of the ankles and maybe aware of the lift that being aware of the ankles brings. And let's do the string to the elbow that we did last time, just with both arms together this time. Just as if there is a string on each elbow, pulling the elbows out and allowing the space for the breath to come into the ribs at the side of the body. The front of the body is widening, the back of the body is widening. And so is the sides. So are the sides. And then dropping one, lowering them down again and putting one hand. And from mind in the brain, just sending the fingertips away down, far away from you, letting the undersides of the fingers uncurl so that the hand floats up and the thumb does not come up. There is no rising of the thumb. Now rotating with the little finger. Some of you, I think last time, were rotating that way. When we rotate the little finger, we rotate it down and in towards us, this scooping movement, which seems to free off something under the back and allowing that even better connection to the deep front line to take the arm up into the air very comfortably and being aware throughout of this breathing into the side of the ribs. And then lowering the arm again, keeping that up, streaming up the body. No loss of tone in the arm or in the body. And then the other arm. Finding that breath under the armpit and sending the hand away down, sending the fingertips away down, and just sending those fingertips away so that the arm floats up into the air. The underside of the arm leads up. And then rotating the hand so the little finger comes down and in, and letting the hand carry on up, checking that nothing arches. The back continues to drop away down, and the whole side of the body can extend. And there is still that breath into the armpits, into the ribs at the side of the body. Still, we're seeing from the back of the head across the spaces. And lowering the arm, maintaining the tone in it. And this time, both arms together. So being aware, even at the last minute, the temptation just to let the arm drop. Keep lowering it right to the last minute. There is no place for dropping. Right to the very end, the arm is lowering. And then just finding that, again, breath into the armpit. Breath is coming from the inside of the body. And both fingers lengthen away, down, and the undersides of the arms lengthen away forwards, so that both arms float up into the air. The backs of the armpits stay back. Nothing comes forwards in the body, and then the arms rotate, the hands rotate, so that they can go up into the air. Again, the neck is adjusting, so that everything can adjust. There is no arching, no holding in the back. Everything is still free to move. And bringing the arms down again, just sending them away still. Exactly the same tone is required to bring the arms up as it is to bring the arms down. And right to the last moment, don't let go, don't let go, don't let go. Right to the last moment, still not letting go. And now let's just do a hip lift without the book. So just putting a hand on one hip and sending that hip down and just inviting the other side of the body to lengthen up. So we haven't particularly done these without a book before. So it's not such it's a harder movement, it's a smaller movement. But you should be finding that lengthening up of the side of the body. Being aware of the sesamoids and the adductors working so that we're not having to lean across. This side of the body is working as well, and you might feel that rectus abdominis lengthening up. Okay, and try the other leg. So the gluteus medius, but also the top of the gluteus maximus presses down. Sesamoids press down, the adductors. The rectus is therefore able to lengthen up. The lateral sides of the body is able to lengthen up. So we've got this separation at the hip. We're really discovering the core stability here of the lateral line and of the deep line working together. Now let's put this together by coming onto toes as we bring the arms up again, but we could just pop up in the air. So there I'm pushing with my toes and then I lean forwards a bit. Whereas if instead we keep thinking these hips sending down and back as the hands come up, then there is very little coming forwards in the body. So just having a go in your own time. So sending the hands away and letting the heels be drawn up almost unwillingly into the air, keeping that sense of the hip lift and the stability in the side of the body, and coming down again, bringing the hands down first, being aware still of that separation going on in the sides of the body and how much stability that brings you. Again, just finding how you're standing, just finding that those lengthening down, this lengthening up, send the fingers away, still the body is breathing, and letting the heels come off when they have to. Hands rotate slightly to lift, but still there is this connection down the sides of the legs and also down the insides of the legs as well. And that's beautifully stable. So again, keeping that sense of connection of the sides of the body as you come down again, so that the instep really can work bit by bit, both up and down again. That's super. And let's just
A
celebrate.
question.
Yes, please.
Are you coming up on your toes when your arms are up or when they're forward?
I'm letting them sort of find their way along the way. So, I mean, you might find them coming up sooner or later, but I think they're sort of starting to draw up at about that length, about that height for me. I think that's but it might be different for you. Yeah. So let's bounce. And again, just being aware as you bounce of this side of the body working as well. This down of the sides of the thighs and the up under the armpits, the breath under the armpits. Ah, lovely bouncing going on. Okay, and let's find the breath into the pelvis. Just breathing into the pelvic floor, allowing the breath to find its way into the pelvic floor, widening the pelvic girdle. So just thinking in through the legs, in through the perineum, and out down the legs. If we let the breath flow in through the lower body, letting it widen round and down the legs. So again, we're inviting that opening of this area here, which so often becomes narrowed in people. We're inviting this area to widen. Being aware of the breath flowing down the legs and again connecting down to the ground. And let's just say the programs of the lower body. So we're going to think about the iliac spines coming back and wide, the pubococcygeals coming forwards, the sitting bones going to the back of the knees and the ribs coming back. And then let's give that a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And now let's do the same for the upper body. Seeing from the back of the head, thinking the ribs at the back of the armpits coming up and out from the sacrum, taking the elbows out and forwards and down from the top of the sternum. And I've been playing with this pull with the current advanced class, and we've been discovering that actually it's the base of the thumb, rather than the thumb going down, the base of the thumb is actually right to the bottom of the palm. This is where the thumb starts from. So if you think about this bit going down, and likewise it's the base of the little finger, which is about there, which wants to go down and wide. So tip of the elbow going out and wide, the side of this base of the thumb, the side of the wrist almost going down and in, and the base of the little finger going out and wide. So and then the top of the sternum is coming up from all of that. So let's just have a go at that. 1, 2, 3. And the head going forwards and up. Okay, that looks nice. And so now we've opened up the lumbar spine. So we found a lot of stability here. So now let's take that into a twist, but on one leg. So because we've done the eyes and then the shoulders before now, leaving the hips where they are, but we're going to do it on one leg. So you can either bring your leg up to your knee, so the side of the foot is simply touching the side of the knee. But for those who want a real challenge, you can do tree pose. Now, tree pose, because the foot is against the side of the knee, it tends to push the hip out. So if you're doing that one, you really have to work that connection up the side of the body. And for those who haven't got balance, you could just put one foot, on top of the other. But if you can all manage that. So now you've found your stability. So find your hip lift, find this pubicoccygeals forwards, iliacs back, hamstrings to the back of the knees. The upper body is still connecting, and you can bring your hands to there if you like. And now just let the eyes go round to the side. Everything else stays still. But you'll see if the eyes can lead the head round, keeping that stability of the lower body across the hips. And when you're back to the front, go the other way with the eyes, working that stability across the hips, across the torso, ribs back, iliacs back, psoas working, still breathing. And when you're back to the front, put the foot down and just maybe do a hip lift to loosen off. Maybe you can do both sides if you like that. And then when you're ready, we'll lift the other side. And again, finding iliacs back, sit bones to the back of the knees, pubicoccygeals forwards, everything finding its stability, and the stability of the side of the body, that hip lift sending down and sending the side of the body up. And it doesn't matter if you wobble. This is quite a challenge. Are you breathing? And when you're ready, come back to the front again. And again, just stretching down and up, stretching down and up. Just finding that side of the body. And then let's do it again. And this time, we're going to do the eyes, but then also the torso. But when you go to the side of the leg, it will be a very small movement because the hips need to stay front. And then when we go the other way, it'll be a slightly bigger movement. So in your own time, just letting the eyes come round to the side, keeping all that stability going. So the eyes come round first, and then the shoulder that's the other side from the way you've turned is the one that leads the shoulder round, but keep the hips square to the front. And then let the whole thing untwist and going the other way. Again, just loosen off the hips. And again, just bringing the foot up. And letting the eyes go over the stance leg first. And then the opposite shoulder leads the movement round, keeping the hips square, letting the eyes come back front, going the other way. Keeping the hips square as you turn. Good challenge. So let's come to some wall work. So if you come, I meant to send you a message beforehand and forgot that you'll need a wall. So find a wall. And your feet about, I don't know, 30 centimeters, 20 to 30 centimeters, maybe 20 centimeters from the wall. And leaning on the wall, breathe into the width. So again, just thinking about those iliac spines coming back to the wall and the ribs coming back to the wall and the psoas, of course, flowing back and up to the wall. And the elbows are coming out and the head is coming forwards and up from between the shoulder blades. So just stay there and breathe a moment. And being aware still of that stability down into the side of the legs and the lift that comes from that up the side of the body. So that the side of the rib cage is still breathing. And there's a sense of the side of the legs sending down and the sesamoid sending down, and from which the body is sent up. And then on the next out breath, thinking back with the iliac spines and the ribs and the psoas, and still sending the sides of the legs away so that the legs go down in space, but the body lengthens up, even as it's sliding down the wall. And then stay there on the in-breath, letting everything widen. And then when you're ready, just finding that iliacs back, ribs back, psoas back and up. Still the sides of the body are sending down. And so they lengthen away down, even as the body slides up to the wall and lengthens the legs. And being aware of whether your back is a little bit flatter on the wall, keeping the sesamoids on the ground. Take time for the in-breath. Just stay there a moment and just seeing how much the whole back can start to widen against the wall on the in-breath. And then on the out-breath, finding that back and up at the iliacs and the psoas and the ribs and the sides of the legs are still sending away down while the sides of the body are coming back and up, so that you again lengthen down the wall. And this time, see if you can stay there for a whole breath cycle, being aware that all the time the torso is lengthening off the legs, whether with the widening of the in-breath or the back and up of the out-breath, such that there is no weight particularly into the legs. And you can stay there quite comfortably. And then again, on the out-breath, just let the iliacs and the ribs and the psoas lead up, and the body will just follow up the wall. Again, stay there. We're going to do that one more time. And this time, take your feet a bit further forwards so they are about 30 centimeters from the wall. a foot, 12 inches for those who aren't in metric. And again, just finding that back and up on the out breath and the widening on the in breath. And then on the next out breath, that back and up of the iliacs and the ribs and the psoas. And the sides of the legs are sending away so that we're going down a bit further, so that we're sort of sitting quite deeply down, but keeping that back and up working so that you're comfortable in the legs. There shouldn't be a sense of enormous pressure into the knees. Keeping widening on the back and up, widening, keeping in the sesamoids as well, keeping that sense of the sides of the legs working, back and up. Hold it for only as long as you are comfortable. If you start getting uncomfortable, come up sooner than I'm doing. And then when we're ready, back and up in the psoas, and up we come. That's it, letting the back slide up the wall and the legs just are extended. And anyone who is watching on the video, if you only hold as long as you're comfortable. So now we need a chair. We're going to do some squat thrusts, which you'll have seen in the video with Lawrence, but I don't think we've ever done before. So you'll want a chair with a flat surface that you can put one foot up on. So I'll just give you a moment to find a chair. And anyone with balance issues might want another chair beside them to hold on to, because this is quite a balance challenge. And if you're okay, then do it without another chair. So you're going to stand so a little bit away from the chair so that your foot can be, so that this leg is, this thigh is, the supported thigh is vertical and the leg can be quite horizontal. And you can bring your arms out to the side if you need. And again, thinking about this support from the sides of the body. The hip laterals are going down, the side of the body is lifted up. We've got the iliac spines coming back and up, the ribs coming back and up, the psoas. And then we've got, we can then take the psoas back and up in order to lengthen us down onto the chair. And then on the out breath, always coming up on the out breath, because that will bring you up. So is that okay? Do you need more demonstration of that, or is that, I think you've got that? So let's have a go, just in your own time. Wave at me if you need me to go through it again. No? Okay. So just in your own time, you might like to breathe in on coming down and then breathe out as you come up. And take it at your own speed. Breathe in to come down. Breathe out to come up. Breathe in to come down. Coming into the width of the body and out to come up. In to come down. And the out breath is just lengthening the torso up and the leg will extend. I'm doing a hand gesture, but you can do whatever hand gestures you like that actually help you to find that lift of the body that lifts the leg up again. So we're not having to, I mean, these are called squat thrusts, but we are not thrusting, we are extending. We're actually doing it a very different way than the standard gym way. Swap legs when you're ready. And again, finding that stability of your stance leg, but also the stability of the leg on the chair, because both of them are adding to the stability. And again, sit bones to the back of the knees, iliacs and ribs back, psoas back. And in your own time, finding that in-breath to take you down and the out-breath back and up. So it's the back that lengthens you up. In-breath to come down and out-breath to lengthen you back up. Go as low as you're comfortable with. Don't try and push it to the point where you hurt your knees. All the time the body is supported. Would you like to swap legs and go again? Everybody okay to go again? Wave at me if you're not. Again, just finding that stability. Stability through the sides of the body, through that deep front line. And then when you're ready, in-breath to widen down, out-breath to come up again. Of course, you can try it the other way around with the breath if you want. And see what you notice. If you breathe out to come down and in to come up, does it work? You're sort of roughly doing 5 on each side. Only do as many as you can keep the form for. If you start losing the form, then you've done enough. But if you can keep the stability going and you can keep the alignment going and your muscles aren't actually shaking, then you're good. Don't do more than you can actually keep the alignment for, because otherwise you just start bringing the wrong muscles into play and you lose any benefit whatsoever. Which is why I don't like 10 reps. I think 10 reps is usually too many. Four or 5 is often about right. Okay, and anyone who's a bit challenged, of course, can do a much smaller movement there. So I'll talk you through this next one. Socks off for this one. Can I get my yoga mat in view? So we're going to come to the front of the mat and start with a forward bend. I'm sorry you can't see my upper body at this, but I'll just demonstrate first. So I'm going to, again, lengthen my hands way up like we did earlier, and then let that forwards and up of the head start to initiate the lengthening of the back, and the arms, everything goes with me into a flat back, always keeping the iliacs back and the ribs back and the psoas coming up, and then lengthening over, always keeping this back and up on the inside to bring me over into the forward bend, keeping the backs of the armpits back, not letting that part of the body collapse down. And from the floor, then stepping back with one foot as far as we can go. And now I'm going to bring my knuckles to by my foot. I'm going to send my head forwards and up, again, keeping that pivoting of the head going that way, and my heel going that way, and my knee coming this way, so that I start to get a lovely lengthening stretch at the groin. And it's very tempting to let the back leg turn out, but if that happens, I've lost the stretch. So I'm keeping that inner ankle coming back and up, keeping the alignment of the leg, keeping the alignment of the leg at the front, and then I get the full stretch. On the in-breath, I'm going to find that back and up to bring me up into a sort of half dog. And I'm going to think about sending the front leg forward and the back leg back, again, keeping the alignment of them. So the legs are really being lengthened and away. And if I think about the head coming out of T8 between the shoulder blades, then the head might go forwards onto the knee. And then on the next in-breath, I'm going to think about, Again, the head lengthening away, like we did coming out of child's pose, coming bit by bit to long, and then the knee joins in, the heel stays back to take me back into the lunge. We'll repeat that, back and up, and then knee forwards, head forwards, heel stays back to lengthen, and then to come up. If you find that bounce in the back leg, the arch of the back, across the front of the foot, to come back into the forward bend, again, always working the iliacs, the ribs, the psoas, so that we're not collapsing at this point, but this is always, there's always space here. So the sides of the body are still working in this. And then to lengthen up, the fingers again lengthen away, they catch the head, the spine is lengthened bit by bit, the head lengthens away, we come up, and again, lower the hands, and then we repeat on the other side. So any questions about that, or are you okay? Good to go? Okay, right. So let's stand to the front of the mat. And finding the aligned feet, of course, and then the fingertips are sending down away from the head, sending up, finding that sides of the body lengthening down, the sides of the body lengthening up, and then sides of the legs lengthening down, body lengthening up, and then sending the undersides of the arms away to extend the arms forward, and then bringing them up overhead, making that slight rotation. So the back can lengthen in this process, nothing arches, the neck doesn't arch, everything stays free as we bring the arms overhead. And then that head is still rotating forwards and up. The atlanto-occipital is the pivot, and it's rotating forwards and up around the center of gravity. The whole spine is lengthening up to follow it forwards and up, and that will tip us into flat back. We're still working the iliac spines, the ribs, the psoas, and Micah, just do this much as you can, what you're comfortable with, and then releasing over into the forward bend, continuing to work the iliac spines and the psoas and the ribs back and up, so that we're keeping the space in the hip joints. The ribs at the back of the armpits stay back. And then stepping back with one foot as far as you can on the mat. Bring the hands to either side of the foot with your knuckles probably touching either side of the foot, and sending the front knee forwards and the back heel back, so that you lengthen between the heel, the back heel, and the front knee. And the head keeps going forwards and up as well, keeping the alignment of the feet, not letting any turnout happen. And then on the next in-breath, the next out-breath, finding that back and up of the psoas and the iliacs and the ribs to pull the hips back into the air so that the front leg straightens, and you send the front toes forwards and the back heel away back. So you're sending the feet away from each other so that both legs are straightening, and then let your head release forwards out of T8, and it just might go down onto your knee. And then let the crown of the head start lengthening away forwards again, and the back of the front knee joins in, and the back heel stays back. So we're coming back into that lovely stretching lunge where the whole groin is being stretched, keeping the alignment of the feet. Don't let the back heel swing in. Keep the medial ankle back and up. And then when you're ready, bring on the next out breath again, coming back up, pulling back in the psoas and the iliac spines so that the front leg straightens, both legs stay straight. You can come onto the front knee with your head and again the head extends forwards, the knee extends forwards, the back heel stays back. Again, we come into the stretch, a lengthening stretch. Now find that bounce in the back foot, in the toes, across the lateral arch of the foot, transverse arch of the foot, and then bounce the foot back in, step the foot back in, keeping working the psoas, the ribs, the psoas and the iliacs back, so that we're in the forward bend. Just breathe there for a moment, being aware of the sides of the body, being aware even in this position of that, the hips coming down the sides of the body, the sesamoids coming down, and then start to extend the fingers away from you, the underside of the fingers extending away. The head is again coming forwards and up off the neck, lengthening the whole spine away. Catch the head between the hands, between the elbows, and let yourself lengthen back up. And then bring the hands down without any loss of tone. Just breathe a second, find that, again, find those sides of the body. It's so easy. You might notice of how when we move, we tend to lose that connection into the sides of the body. We tend to be a little bit forwards of it, say, finding that sides of the body, the breath into the sides of the body, and then let's lengthen away the arms again. Bring the arms up and let the arms rotate, the hands rotate slightly so that the back is able to lengthen as the arms come above the head, the neck lengthens, the back lengthens. Finding that forwards and up in the head that helps the whole spine follow. The iliac spines come back and up, the ribs are staying back and up, the psoas is coming back and up, so we come into the flat back if we can. And the shoulder blades are widening in this position as well. And then letting everything lengthen down. The head hangs down, but the psoas and the iliacs keep working back and up. And the backs of the armpits stay back. Again, just breathe there a moment, being aware of the sides of the legs. And then stepping back with the other foot. Sending the heel away from the knee and the head lengthening away, bringing the hands to either side of the feet, so you've got a stable base. And just stay there for a moment and breathe with it, not letting the back leg turn out. And then letting that psoas work back and up, iliacs back and up, to draw the body back into the air. The back leg heel lengthens towards the ground, the front leg lengthens, letting the body soften over the knee from the T8. And then letting the head lengthen away forwards again, the knee lengthen away forwards, the heel stays back, so we come into a lovely stretch. And again, the iliac spines come back and up, the psoas comes back and up, probably on an out breath. Heel lengthens down, the 2 feet lengthen away from each other. The body can soften over the front leg. And then the head leads you out, front knee leads away, back heel stays, feet stay in alignment, and keeping that, finding that spring now in the back foot, and see if you can let the leg draw in one smooth movement, working the iliac spines and the psoas in the forward bend, and then sending the hands away and the head forwards and up off the spine, coming back to flat back, letting the deep hip rotators under the bum straighten you up. and open out the pelvis back to vertical. And then when you're ready, the hands come down, the spine still is flowing up. And gosh, the time is actually going faster than I thought today. So let's just do a couple of squats. So feet aligned. And in the squat, we're going to think about, again, the sides of the body, but also about the ribs at the back of the armpits staying up away from the heels and the top of the sternum staying up away from the heels. So just finding that, give yourself a 3. 1, 2, 3. And then letting that forwards and up of the head tilt you a little bit into the monkey, and the lower leg is staying absolutely vertical. It's the ribs and the iliacs drawing back, the head sending forwards and up, that brings one into the monkey, and now keeping the back of the armpit thinking up, and the top of the sternum thinking up, and up off the front of the instep, the leg up the front of the instep, and see how you are going into the squat. Only go as far as you're comfortable, and you can keep the form, and then again finding that back and up of the torso to extend you out of it. Great. Hannes, your knees are going together. Can you make sure to keep your knees widening apart? So bring the iliac spines back, because that was happening a bit. Bring the iliac spines back and up to stop that happening. Let's try going into onto tiptoes first then. So again, just find that side of the body and bringing the arms up and come onto tiptoes. And then bringing the arms down, but keeping those sides of the body stable so that we can come down very slowly and let that take you forwards into the monkey. Again, the front of the leg does not move, the back of the thighs are drawing back and up off the lower body, and then allow yourself to keep thinking this back and up, just like we did on the wall, back and up, 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 as you come into the squat. That's it. Ah, somebody's got lower. And again, that, yay! And that back and up, Mari, that's good. Didn't get there first time. That's great. One more time. Coming onto tiptoes first, finding that sides of the body. The sides of the body sides of the legs going down, working that gluteus maximus, the back, the top part of the gluteus maximus, and maybe leave your arms up if you want this time as you come down, and letting the body be drawn back by the psoas and the iliacs. And then everything is just drawing up and back, and aware too of the sides of the legs as you fold. Just letting the fold happen all the way. That's fantastic. And then just letting it lift from the inside to bring you up. That's super. That's marvelous. So, gosh, I was going to do some floor work, but we're nearly out of time. So let's instead play with putting one foot over the other and see if you can do exactly the same thing to keep everything coming up and back to come to the floor and actually get your bum on the floor. And seeing how you're doing at that. Yep, and back and up on the inside, and see if thinking of the sides of the legs actually helps also to uncurl it. Excellent. Yay, lots of people can do it. Try with the other foot. Cross your feet the other way. And again, the same thing. Find the sides of the body and that back and up on the inside. And still working the sides of the body down, this side of the body up. And see if you can, again, sustain the up so that there's not so much of a drop. That's lovely. And then again, that back and up on the inside, the sides of the body are working, and up we come from the inside. Well, come and have a, I don't know where the time went today. Lots of different floor work next time then. Would anyone like to comment or ask questions? Laurie.
With the squat, I really got a sense of that being drawn back and up. That's really useful.
Yeah, because first time you didn't get down, and then the second two times you went down and up beautifully. Yeah, lovely. Anyone else notice a difference from working with the sides of the body in this way? That's anyone got something to comment?
I like all the core support thing and to find the stability and to look for the stability. I like it very much, and to have enough time to find always my alignment. And then the last, my observation was, it was very important to observe my knees when I go into the squat. And it depends on where they are, if it feels good or not. So for the knees. So it was really a little thing of going out or in, and I have to find it. And then it was very comfortable.
Yeah, and it's a slight too far in and too far out. That's to go through the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't find it, Hannes, when you thought about bringing your knees a bit further out. Was that
Yeah, so squat is always very challenging for me, but I didn't recognize the knees the first time, but I felt stable, so I can go as far as I can. But I had a very good feeling. Also, the coming up was very easy, so I felt very connected from the inside, and I wonder if this will change, just trying it that way and giving direction. So expanding the movement. What do you think?
I think so, because we found that back and up in the wall work, and then we found the squat thrust, which is only half the movement. And then when you came to do it in the full squat movement, you were more in touch with that connection back and up. And so perhaps you could trust the body to allow it to open into the full movement.
So
So,
it always feels like a problem of the ankles, but I guess it's not.
Well, it probably with the ankles in terms of not flexing, or in terms of not flexing.
But I know, or I suggest that there starts to be tension in the ankles because of an imbalance of the rest of the body.
That's what I'm guessing. And the more you get the confidence in the body that it can be lifted up off the ankle, and then you allow that ankle to flex.
And I always go with my mind to the problem. And I know it from working with Linda once. She said, we go down to the squat, and I said, I cannot. And she said, shut up, and give direction and put me there. And I don't know how it was possible. So I know there is this potential from the directions from inside the body, and it might be the back and up, which she gave me with her hands.
Keep working with the squat thrust and with the wall.
Yeah.
And that will help build confidence in the body, I think.
Yeah.
And then instead of going to the ankles, go to the floor. Stay with the head on the floor. Don't let it focus in the ankles. And the same if anyone's worried about their knee. Don't focus in the knee.
Yeah. I think I succeed in doing this time, but as far as I can. So go on. Yeah.
Micah, you've got a question next, and then Claire.
Yes, for me the squat is also a big challenge still, and yeah, in the past I always find myself that the energy is going down. But what was really, really helping me recently was to work and to stay with it, to work with the kind of gravity of the head. And I also did it with the pupils, and it was really fantastic to really take this as business of the mind, thinking forward or using it as an antagonistic pull to really thinking up and up and up. And yeah, and then one day I got it to the floor, but with the arms up. So, however, but yeah, so I could see a change that my body is less going down when I go down, and but this gravity thing is a super thing for me. It's really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, again, with the arms up, you're just lengthening that side of the body up. And then, but did it help also anyone to think about the sides of the legs going down? Was that a helpful thought as well, to keep the stability that then nothing does have to co-contract because it's solid in a balanced way. Yeah. Claire, I think you were next.
Yeah, but it's especially the sensation of T8 going away from the sacrum, so that this is lengthening by the invitation here, and then so really the back is going up, and also the sides are supporting that. But before the sides could do whatever, and this was narrowing down, So, but now it's really good. Progress.
Which again is lengthening the spine, letting it all open to the flex, and that itself lengthens the legs. Yeah. Claire, did you have a question?
Well, actually, I was waving about Harry, and then I thought Micah was going too, so I was waving at Micah. But yeah, I think the backing up, just keeping that going through the whole thing is really useful for me. Particularly, I think, because I'm so used to sort of releasing into joints.
Yeah.
And it creates a little bit of a collapse, say, in the squats, for example. It's just that last bit of going, just release into the hip joints, which just doesn't really help.
No, it doesn't, does it, actually? This whole thing of releasing joints, you've got to release out of them, not into them.
Yeah. And I'm finding more, I think, I think it starts from what we were doing last week and started off this week with the arms coming up. I think I understood more ribs at the back of the elbow, armpits. I think I thought I understood it, but I understood it more. And keeping this back as well creates even more length, width, space, everything.
Yes, it's such an important point to again get that lifting of the back from there. Yes, there's 3 points on the iliacs, and then the ribs, and then here.
And I've been using that one with the breath underneath here with pupils as well, and it's been really useful, particularly for my pupil who's really kind of through shoulders. It's great to get that sort of.
The rib cage is supporting itself, the shoulders just rest on top. And Adora.
I would like to go back to the squat. What I notice, as long as I keep this back and up quality and I come to the ground and I just lift again, it's fine. But the moment I settle down to squat for a longer time, something drops, and then it's almost impossible to get out of it. then I just have to need to use a hand or something to to push myself out of it, because yeah, once it's lost this quality, it's really hard to build it up again.
I think it's an interesting one, this one, and for me, I think I can let it go further and still refine it again.
Okay.
Able to do so. You know, use your own sense of how much tone you have to keep going to come up again. I think there was a point where I just sort of got near the squat but didn't dare even take my hands down, so that I got the elasticity to come up again. The elasticity goes out of the muscles, the tone, the elasticity, and as you say, it's impossible.
Do you know Ivo Portal? This is this amazing movement guy from Israel, and he does all sorts of movement, and he has he invented a squatting challenge, and it means that for us Western people, you really have to build it up, because obviously that the legs get enough blood into the legs. Something really has to open. I mean, the veins in the legs has to build up in order that the legs, don't die off the moment you squat for a longer time. So it's really something you have to train and to build up that you are able to stay in there.
Yes, I mean, I was aware of that years ago, that I could squat, but if I stayed there more than, I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds, I would go very dizzy on getting up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because I'd cut off the legs. And then one day, some years ago now, and I can't quite remember what led to it, but I must have been doing some opening work or lifting work or something. And I went into the squat, and it was as if my legs were twice as long and they'd got space to bend.
Mm.
So that's the quality we're after. And after that, I've been able to stay in squat quite comfortably. And then stand work with, again, the further lifting up, as I think added to that, of this, this way squat rather than just, there, which is what I would have been doing. So I think this is, I'm not into muscularly training it. I think it's this training of the lift, training of the extension within the system that actually facilitates the movement rather than building up muscle in there and stamina in the muscle. I think it's about building this space.
No, it's not about building the muscle, but really literally building up the space in the veins of the leg, so that somehow the blood still flows and you're not cutting off your legs.
How did you find it when we actually stayed down at the bottom of the wall? How was that for people? I haven't tried that with people before now. Was it comfortable to just keep thinking back and up? So again, the leg continues.
It's fine.
Good. Yeah, because I mean, again, that's a gym exercise. I've seen it done by fitness trainers. It's like, hold in there, your legs might be shaking. It's like, no, that's not how to approach it. You can just keep flowing it. Yeah. Okay, anyone else want to? Irene, are you okay with this? Eugenia? So, yeah. Any last comments before we finish for today? We'll do the floor work we didn't do today next week, next time.
This last bit with the feet crossed kills me. I don't know how you do it. I think I will never be able to do it.
But how's the squat? You can get right down into the squat, I think, can't you?
Yeah.
In which case, just keep having a go at it. And it just might come.
Like this will come? Okay.
It's all like Hannes was saying, it's as much about relaxing into the movement, but yet relaxing in a lengthening way, because we think, oh my God, I can't do it. And then things go contract and then nothing will bend.
Yeah.
That is why skilled teachers can take one into a squat when people can't go in, because they're getting the body to trust to allow the opening in the joints.
Mm.
I watched a remarkable, I did a workshop in New York when I was there a couple of years ago with a Japanese guy, I think he was, I forget. And it was the most frustrating workshop because he showed us how pictures of these guys, businessmen, but he was taking into full splits within, I think it was some extraordinarily short length of time. It was something like 6 weeks to get businessmen into splits. And then he didn't bloody tell us how. And I can't find him on the internet. But it's like that must, and I know he was sort of working with the chi of the body, as it were, into the legs, getting certain embodiment in flow. I think he was doing some of that, but he must have been getting them to trust their bodies. So, you know, if a businessman can go into splits in 6 weeks, we can do a squat. You know? So, you know, it was amazing. You know, it was just ordinary, you know, you know, they looked muscle bound when they started, and they weren't even slim guys. They were some bulgy guys. Like, how did you do that? So yeah, I think it's a lot about getting this extension through and trusting the body. Yeah, and so we've worked it in the supported way first with the wall and the squat first, and then freehand. Yeah. Okay, have fun with that. And Hannes.
I have a question. So the so-called Jando pulls.
Yeah.
So they are now in all these movements. This is what you're directing us through. Yeah. And so it seems, so if I watch him or look what he's doing, he seems to me a bit more rigid, but if we do it together, it seems to be kind of more alive, and also I can look for them by myself in a way. And I think this is what I was doing, experimenting by myself when I did my training. I was tapping my body, what you told, I did it. And so in this time, I thought this is a bit more doing. But I think it was the same direction. So it's just in your movement teaching the antagonistic poles is what he called. And I mean, I know them. I feel if it's there, and it can be like this or like this or like this. But if it's opening up the whole thing, that's it, isn't it?
It does. It becomes elastic, doesn't it? And
yeah.
Policy that Jando is always after is that elasticity. What he doesn't work with is the breath and the psoas and the inside.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm bringing to it. Is that
so you bring the chi into it, kind of.
Absolutely. And
yeah.
again, that sort of, you know, that expansion that happens from the inside, and then you put the outside pulls with it, and you can get a flow in it. And, you know, I mean, I guess, you know, because I was using them in yoga for, you know, years, without knowing them, and then was able to name them, where again, that's what we were doing. So it makes more sense to me. And I think it makes more sense anyway to flow it. Jando's works lovely, but it can get a bit, it's very easy for people to get muscle bound with it. I think he isn't. I mean, he's extraordinarily flexible, and he sits at a computer all day, every day. And he's got the full flexibility because he's working it all the time. But to me, you need the breath with it as well to keep this chi flowing, as he's saying. Most people need that. Yeah. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, but you've got to find these things standing still first, and then you can start taking them into movement and keeping them in movement. I mean, that's the other thing, is that, you know, it's one thing to stand still and find something, and then people move and they throw it away. And what we're looking to do is to keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. So it informs the entire movement, and that's a challenge in itself. And that's again what we're doing here, so that we really get the opening within the movement. Okay, I'm loving this. Thank you for doing it with me. See you all in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you, Penelope. Bye.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.